Hi there, this video is going to be going over auto accident and workers' comp case files. Now, I have made a video about this before. This is more of an update to that video just because the way we input auto accidents has changed slightly. The first thing I want to go over is what you're going to do whenever someone needs to come in for an auto accident. You will have to set them up with a new patient appointment, whether they have already been seeing us or whether they are just a brand new patient. You'll want to set us up a new patient appointment for that. Refer to previous videos on how to do that. You'll also want to tell them to arrive 30 minutes early because there is a good amount of paperwork for them to fill out. Now, when they come in, you're also going to need to get a copy of their auto insurance card. Now, the standard policy for auto accidents is that we will only bill through the patient themselves' insurance. The reason for that being is a patient's insurance that they pay into is going to cover a lot better than someone else's. Not to mention, if you go through the other party's insurance, you won't get any sort of payment back until the very end of care for the patient. So, if the patient does not have health coverage under that auto accident care plan, or there are circumstances that don't allow them to use their auto insurance for that, you'd have to speak with the doctor, and ultimately the decision lies with him. But your job is to try to ensure that they use their own auto insurance for this case. Workers' comp goes through whatever state they were injured in. That is its own. You will file through workers' comp. Workers' comp will pay you as they go. That's pretty basic. Also, the majority of the time, that workers' comp, if you do have any of those cases, will be coming through the state of Wyoming because that's where we're located. However, we have had patients in the past who have come into us through other states, and they were referred to us by doctors down in those states. It's a very similar situation. Remember to always check where you're sending claims off to. Workers' comp and auto accident are also always going to be HCFA forms as opposed to standard electronic billing. And that should also be covered in that other video. I'm elaborating a bit in this video. The big thing I want to go over is the new way that we're going to be inputting auto accidents or workers' comp in here. So, in the previous video about auto accidents and workers' comp cases, what I said you had to do was you had to create an entirely new file for this particular case, and that no matter how many auto accidents they came in, you'd have to create a new file for each case. And then you'd put all the information in for that case, and you'd submit through that case, and when you're all done, you would mark that patient as an active. There's a much easier way that we found out that you can do this, so we're going to do it by that. So as you can see, I have this patient file pulled up here. This particular patient is an auto accident. She was not a patient with us prior to the auto accident, but we do know she'll be seeing us once this auto accident is complete. So what you'll do, as opposed to making a bunch of different files for each patient, you only have to make the one. And the big difference lies in this insurance box. So if you open this up, once this loads, I apologize. Here we go. Once this opens up, there are a couple things I'm going to point out here. The first is this current case, or case 1. Now you can actually, I'm not going to do it at this time, but I'll show you. If you hit this add button, you can add as many cases as you'd like. So what you do is once the patient is done with their auto accident case, you would add another case, and that would then go to their standard care. Now, if this was a patient that had already been seeing us, and then gotten an auto accident, you would add a case, and that would be their auto accident case. Once they're all done with their auto accident care, you would just go back to the original case and continue on from there. Now, when you're doing that, just keep in mind to have the correct case open. So in this instance, case 1 is correct because this is the first time we've been seeing her. We put her date of current initial treatment, auto accident, all this good stuff is in there. Now, when the patient goes off of this auto accident case and just goes to standard care, we're going to create another case. It would be case 2. We're going to put the date of current initial treatment. That is going to be when she starts that standard care. So we don't know the date of that yet. But once that does happen, we'll put that first date of care in the date of current initial treatment. This will go back to whether it's commercial or if she has Blue Cross. Of course, if she has Blue Cross, remember to put that same date that she started standard care in the acute manifestation box. And then you would go through this. And you can also change this. If you right-click insurance policy, you can set it as the different ones. And what you'll want to do is whichever current policy you'll be using is what you want it to be the first one. So then, when she's all done with this auto accident, what I can do is I can set this as number 2 and mark it as inactive once I am done. And then it'll just go straight to her standard health insurance. Now, if the patient does not have standard health insurance, but they were here through an auto accident or workers' comp case, what you'll do is once the case is all finished, you want to make sure to transfer to case 2, but you are going to have to unclick these boxes like you would for a cash patient. Otherwise, it'll say, hey, we're missing information. You need to put that in before we can submit anything, but you're not submitting anything. So make sure those are unchecked as you go through. Of course, also remember to remark this as inactive. It's not too difficult. It's just a lot less work for you once you do have that. Keep in mind that older patients will have the separate files because that is how we used to do this. But since we can combine them all into one, just remember to pick the correct case or add a case if you need to. Date of current initial treatment is going to be whatever they started that particular case on. So, auto accident, put it as the first time they saw us with their auto accident. If they go from auto accident to regular care, put when they started that regular care again as the current initial treatment once you're in the correct case. Just keep track of your cases, keep track of dates, and also always utilize this gray box for notes so you know exactly what you're going to be doing. But that's the basics of that. I am going to keep the other video up because that is good information to have, and I go a lot more in depth. This is just to change to the new way that we will input auto accident and workers' comp cases. And I hope this video was informative, and I'll talk to you guys later.